Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the season finale here for season 26 at One Hub Racing. My name is, of course, Michael Evans, going to be taking you through the action. Joining alongside me in the commentary box, as always, is the man, the myth, the legends, is Mr. Colin Mason. How's it going, Col?
Evening, Mike. Well, I can't wait for this, Mike. This is going to be a belter. We've got one of the classic tracks, Mike, Belgium as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We are heading here to the Belgium, the Ardennes, I believe it's the Ardennes Forest, if I'm not mistaken correctly, or is it the mountains? I'm not too sure.
No, you're right, yeah, Ardennes Forest, right in the middle of it.
Yeah, we are right in the middle of the Ardennes Forest, and we have a championship decider here tonight, Cole, and we have a very spicy battle for third in the championship to look forward to as well. And let's have a little peek at the standings as we are heading into qualifying in just a moment's time. Let's have a look at the standings. Of course, Rich 500 leads the way, 14 points ahead of J. Luke. Now, it is mathematically possible that J. Luke can overturn that, but how crucial would that mistake have been in Abu Dhabi? Actually, no, was it Abu Dhabi? No, it was
Miami.
Yeah, it was in Miami, yes. Where he outbroke himself and went way too deep and lost touch with the top two. And that cost him potentially taking a race win or even a P2 finish, which would have closed the gap even more. But he's got all the work to do tonight. Rich 500, all he needs to do is finish 7th for the fastest lap or finish inside the top 6. And there's absolutely nothing that J. Luke can do about it.
Yeah, but we know how difficult that is actually to do with this grid being so close, Mike. I mean, the championship there, you can see how tight it is, which just shows how close the grid really is. And of course, Rich made a mistake last week as well, Mike, which dropped him out of the points. He did get 1 point for the fastest lap in the bottom 10. But a disastrous race for Rich, so he's going to be a bit edgy as well. They're all going to be a bit edgy, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, you had Jess and Joe have a bit of a midfield scrap in Miami last time out, which of course saw them finish 8th and 7th, respectfully. And it saw Papa Squanch take victory, back-to-back victories actually for Papa Squanch. He's currently 5th in the championship, but only 2 points separating Jess in 3rd and Papa Squanch in 5th. And Jess tonight going to be receiving a 3-place grid penalty for impeding Funky last time out in Miami. So Jess will be a little bit hindered in qualifying, but it's still a very, very close battle for even our final top 3 spot.
Yeah, it's ridiculous that we've come to the last race and none of the trophies in the top 3 are decided. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. There's going to be a little bit of nerves there with some of the drivers, understandably. The adrenaline's going to be quite high, Mike. And it's not just dry weather, Mike, that they're going to have to attend to this tonight.
No, absolutely. Qualifying is currently underway. We'll get you to the action in just a moment's time out in qualifying. It is full wet conditions at the start of qualifying, but it is supposed to be drying out towards the end of the session, so we'll see quicker times coming in a few moments time. But looking at the rest of the field, Cole, obviously we've gone for the top 5, the championship battle, the battle for the 3rd in the championship. Funky, to my knowledge, is not here tonight, so potential for Salu and Quinn to maybe jump ahead of Funky here, but Salu were a great chance of jumping ahead, 4 points behind Funky, and just on the periphery of that top 3 fight, a race win for Salu could be massive in his attempts of trying to get top 3. But is it just a little bit of he's found the form just a little bit too late into the season?
Yeah, I think you're right, Mike. I think you're dead right with that. His form has come a little bit too late. He made quite a few errors at the start of the season, which proved really costly. I mean, he's not out of the hunt, mate. He's only 15 points off 3rd. Like you said, if he wins that race, and Jess and Quinn and Joe struggle, then he could nick third place from them. But he's going to have to be inch perfect tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, behind Salu, we got Quinn in 8th place on the 88 points. 10 points behind Salu, so there's a possibility that he could jump himself up ahead of Salu in the standings. But he seems a little bit solidified right now in 8th place. His teammate Leroy on 68 points in 9th. Cowboy wrapping out the top 10 on 67 points. 55 points with Jamie in 11th, with Matthias in 12th on 41 points. 1 point ahead of JR Mason in 13th on 40 points, who was 1 point ahead of Proverb in 14th on 39 points, who was 2 points ahead of Catherine in 15th on 37 points. So a very close battle in that battle for 12th as well, as we have M125, who obviously dropped down from P1 into P2 earlier this season, and of course he's on 29 points in 16th place. We've got Geese in 17th on 15 points. Skrillex in 18th on 11 points. Then we got Ghost on 5 points, who has left the season, unfortunately. And then we got the returning Vitinho coming in 20th. He's on nothing at the moment, but he's coming in first race back in a long time for I believe the Brazilian, if I remember correctly. I'm trying to remember his nationality. It was Brazilian, wasn't it? Vitinho.
Yes, I think you're right, yes.
So Vitinho coming back into the equation, and of course a very good driver. I've had the privilege of racing him previously and know what kind of pace he has. He could be a thorn in some of these people's sides eyes for sure. And then of course we got Rageman Anthony, Felix, James and Kenzie have all left the season, and then still on minus 3 points is Trash Panda in 26th place.
Yeah, hope Trash Panda will be hoping to try and get into positive figures, as he is on -3 at the minute. So let's hope that he can have a good race and get some points on the board, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, confirmed Mercedes are the Constructors' champions. Alpine solidified P2 in the standings. Very close battle between Ferrari and Red Bull for the third position in the Constructors. Only 6 points separating those two teams. Very close battle between Aston Martin and Haas F1 for 5th and 6th. 2 points separating them, and just 3 points behind Haas you have the Visa Cash App RBs in 7th place on 108th point. And then we got McLaren on 95 points, Sauber on 44 points, and then of course Williams on 36 points. But Cole, without further ado, shall we head to the action out on track and see what the guys and girls are saying out there in terms of qualifying?
Yes, let's do it. So you can see at the minute, Salo showing again, Mike, his strong wet weather pace. Up there, look at that, 1.3 seconds quicker than Jay Luke in second place, Mike.
Yeah, and I have a feeling that obviously the track is evolving. So obviously the guys that came out early on the wet tyres, they are going to be getting a feel for the track as early as possible. As I believe, I believe my audio is a little bit out of sync, so I'm going to try and fix that real quick. So apologies for this, guys. We're just going to quickly...
But we do have so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drivers on track at the minute who are on the intermediate tyres, not setting the world alight with the times yet. Proverb there in 7th place, but you can see that the rain is starting to ease. It's still raining, but you can see the traction that the drivers are struggling with. Jamie there out on intermediates as well, Mike.
Jamie about to get his lap underway, so let's take you on a full lap here of the Belgian circuit with Jamie as he's coming down into the infamous bus stop chicane, as he locks up the tyres under braking going into the bus stop chicane. Looks for a good exit to get his lap underway into hot lap on the ERS, and now foot to the floor as you head down into turn number 1. La Source looking for the break in at around 100 meters there for Jamie. Tries to hook up the inside there, dropping down into first gear, looking for the best traction possible on the exit. Now, foot to the floor as you head through Rouge and Radion. Now, normally this will be flat out, but in the intermediates, a little bit of a lift is going to be needed. As you see, oh, Jamie, they're getting all out of shape, coming on top of the hill through Radion there. As we now on the Camel Straight, normally DRS will be wide open, coming down in to Les Combes as we break down with Jamie coming through the Les Combes section as JR Mason there putting a provisional pull time in on the set of the wet tyres as we head into Brussels now with Jamie, keeping it nice and tight on the inside, trying to feel the traction and the grip as we head through. I believe it got renamed to Anthony Knowles, that corner, if I'm not mistaken. But I always refer to it as No Name as we head through Pouhon now.
Yeah, it's always going to be No Name for me. There you can see I think it's the Haas getting out of the way. Jamie's struggling. You can see that there is a dry line appearing now, Mike, or drier line anyway. Let's have a look. He gets a very good exit there, Mike. That's very nice. We got a couple of yellow flags out there. Oh, bit of a drift. Now, is this gonna be flat out, Mike? Let's see.
Well, as we head down in towards Blanchimont now, you should be flat out. But in these conditions, is it a little bit of a lift? I believe we saw like a slight marginal lift there from Jamie. But into the bus stop chicane, dropping it down second gear, dropping it down to first gear. That, of course, just unsettled his car slightly. But to the line will come Jamie. Is it going to be a provisional pole? Yes, it is.
Yes,
and by
it is.
a second to Mason's lap time.
So that is showing the Inters are now the best tyre to be on. But Mike, with this track drying as it is, it's so important to be the last man out, really, Mike. You know, you want to be on track as late as possible to take advantage of the better conditions.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're on board with Joe now, as he's just come through Radion now onto the Camel Straight. As you can see, the track is improving, so the intermediates are going to be the better tyre. And let's see what Joe can do in the first sector split, and he's over a second up in the first sector.
Wow. So that will put him on a 58.9 at this moment if he just does the same kind of performance as he did previously. You can see the extra grip that he's got now compared to earlier in the session. As he comes into No Name, a little bit of a lockup, but gets a good exit, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Now heading down in towards Pouhon as he throws it in sixth gear. As you got a car getting out of the way. I believe that is one of the McLarens getting out of the way. Just improving there. A 55.2. So yeah, it is now intermediates 100%. If you're not out there on a set of Inters, then you're just hemorrhaging a lap time. Of course, Cole, around here, a very long lap time as well. So it really does. You have to be out there at the right time to get the best of the conditions. And of course, it is going to go dry by the end of the session. It's going to be dry enough for the dry tyres, though. That's going to be the big question.
Yeah, exactly that. But one thing, Mike, that I'm noticing, Rich is yet to set a lap. We're 5.5 minutes gone, and he has not yet set a lap. That is very, very brave. I am very surprised that he hasn't even tried to do... Oh, look at that. Hasn't even tried to do a cycle lap. So he's as Papa Squanch now in the 53s.
As we've got Salu, who's like 4 seconds up on his lap time as well in the middle sector. So Salu getting a little bit of a long-range tow from the Scuderia Ferrari up ahead. So this could be a very good lap from Salu. Vitinho goes up into P2. It's a Haas front row lockout right now. As Vitinho on his return to One Hub Racing puts himself up there. Salu there with a 53 flat. Puts himself on provisional pole. As you see Skrillex in the pit lane, he's strapped on a set of the soft compound tyres.
That is very, very ambitious. Very ambitious. So we got Matthias yet to set a lap as well. Rich still in that pit lane, Mike.
Yeah, right now, J. Luke down in P12. Of course, he set that lap time on a set of the wet compound tyres. So we know he can go quick on a set of Inters. I think for Rich and J. Luke, they're looking at this and thinking, we're gonna wait until around about 2.5 minutes to go, see what the track is looking like. If it is gonna remain indoors, then we'll go out on a set of indoors. If not, strap on a set of the soft tyres and see if you can get the conditions right. As probably goes himself up into P6. Good lap there from the Williams. As the track is just going to continuously improve, Cole. We got JR Mason on outlap right now. Trash Panda on outlap. As Trash Panda about to get his qualifying lap underway. Now, in these conditions, it's all going to be about timing and who can get the best of conditions at the right time. Of course, if it does dry considerably quickly on your final lap shot there on the set of indoors, it may be more of a hindrance than a blessing, because you may end up overheating your intermediates and losing time due to the overheating.
Yeah, exactly that. As we see, Jess elected softs as well, Mike. She's still in the pit lane, but she has selected a set of softs. I am still absolutely stunned that Jay, Luke and Rich are still in the pit lane. They are only giving themselves one opportunity here. That is very, very brave.
Yeah, and the amount of red walled soft compound tires I'm seeing being strapped on in the pit lane right now, especially considering it's still raining out there. Very interesting, as Trash Panda has actually disconnected from the session there.
Well, that's a shame. We'll try and get him back in the session. But Mike, it's still raining with 2.5 minutes to go. Softs is not the way to go. I am absolutely convinced that softs is not going to be the quickest tyre. Here, I still think it's going to be the intermediate tyres. Let's see if anyone does try. Yeah, Joe is on the softs, Mike. And it's still raining. He's just left the pit box now, and he's going to give it a go. But I don't see it being the best tyre at this stage. I really can't.
Yes, we got Rich coming out on the set of the indoors. We got J. Luke coming out on the set of softs. So this is very important. And Cole, it has stopped raining out on track.
Yeah, you're right. It has. So are my words going to be eaten again? But it does look very, very dry. DRS has not yet been enabled, but let's see if these drivers on the softs. I'm just looking at Joe now, and he does seem to have plenty of grip, Mike. It's obviously not like you would have in full dry conditions, but he's not overly struggling.
Well, this is going to be very interesting, because the track is going to dry, and it may dry pretty quickly over the outlaps. And by the time they come around to the flying laps, maybe it will switch to being the dry compounds being the better. But right now, we got Joe on a set of softs, we got Jess on a set of softs, Jamie on a set of softs, Jay Luke on a set of softs, Quinn goes on a provisional, Paul on a set of indoors, Geese on a set of softs, Matthias on a set of softs, and then we got everyone else on a set of indoors. I think as DRS has been enabled, I think Rich has absolutely done himself in by here, because he's on a set of indoors. He hasn't set a lap time so far, and he's going to be on a track, a bone dry track, on those indoors, but they're just going to be overheating.
Yeah, I think everyone who's selected the softs has made the perfect call. This could be absolutely disastrous for the intermediate runners. Rich is in a hell of a mess. He's on the track. What can he do, Mike? He's going to have a lap of his life here, because he's on the wrong tyre.
Yeah, absolutely. He's on the wrong tyre, and we're going to see the sector split between himself and Jay Luke. So we're going to keep an eye on that in just a moment's time. So Rich coming down to the first sector split. DRS a wide open is going to be a 32 flat for Rich, and let's go on board with Jay Luke, and let's see what this first sector split is going to be for the second Mercedes car, and let's see how much quicker. I believe it was 32, and there we go. He's 8 times quicker in sector 1 alone.
Wow, that is huge. So at the moment, we got guys racing down. So I think it was Guest actually overtaking Salo. Salo is getting monstrously held up here. He's trying to, but he is on the intermediates as well. He's not going to improve, Mike. Mason's in the pits. He's not going to improve. Proverb's in 7th place. That's his. Oh, it's going to be tight, Mike. Let's see.
Just looking at this gap between with J. Luke and Rich, it was a 20.1 for Rich, and it's a 15.3 for J. Luke.
Wow. That is a huge amount. Let's see now. So Rich coming through the bus stop. What's his lap time going to be? Where's it going to put him on the grid as he crosses the line? It is going to be a 49. It is provisional pole, but these lap times are going to plummet. Matthias there, 44, Mike, 5 seconds quicker.
Yeah, Joe going up in the P2. Here comes J. Luke. J. Luke on provisional pole, a 43.4. For the championship contender. We got Jess coming to the line now. What's Jess going to do? Jess up to P2. And
wow.
Yeah, I think that is it for qualifying. I think Rich might have got away with it slightly, as not many times have come in being of much improvement. So I think Rich has got himself quite lucky. He's going to be starting from P9 tonight, but he's got Papa Squanch ahead of him, he's got Salo ahead of him, he's got Joe ahead of him, he's got Geese ahead of him, Jamie ahead of him, Matthias ahead of him. Obviously, Jess with that 3-place grid penalty will start from P5, but Jess will be ahead of him. And then you got J. Luke ahead as well. And J. Luke starting from pole, exactly what he needs. And he needs to hope he gets a good start and gets clear immediately, and hopes that everyone else does him a favour.
Yeah, he's done exactly what he needed to do. Rich, he is currently not where he needs to be to win this championship. Like we said earlier, he needs 7th place in the fastest lap or anything in the top 6. And he's made life a little bit hard for him. J. Luke has done exactly what he needs to do.
Yep, and let's run you through the order here for the final time in season 26. It is J. Luke taking the final pole position of the season ahead of Jess, who will join him. Well, not joining him on the front row. She'll be starting from P5. Then, of course, we got Matthias, who will be bumped up to 2nd, with Jamie bumped up to 3rd. Geese will be bumped up to 4th, and of course, Jess will slot in at 5th. Joe in 6th, with Salo in 7th, Papa Squanch in 8th, Rich in 9th, and Quinn round up top 10. Outside the top 10, we have Mason, Vitinho, M125, Proverb, Cowboy, Trash Panda, and Skrillex going to be starting from the back of the field. Cole. Qualifying, very interesting, very intriguing in terms of the how everything was going, in terms of the evolution of the track. It did go to dries right at the end, and J. Luke managed to get the best of the conditions at the end. Rich, fortunately in terms of the amount of people that were on intermediate, still meant that he still starts inside the top 10. How big of a saving grace is that going to be for Rich?
Oh, I mean, it could have been, like Lukey in the chat says, it could have been a lot worse. If every driver, or if more drivers elected to do that soft run at the end, he could have been way at the back of the grid with a monumental task on his hand. It's still difficult. You know, when you're in that pack, Mike, you know yourself, it's going to so easy to get involved in minor scrapes. You know, we got a very, very tight first corner. We've seen many, many accidents there over the years. And Rich is not going to want to be involved in anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But of course, looking to the drivers' press conferences and everything for the media stuff. In terms of the rivalries, we got Jess and Papa Squanch in for the rivalries. The question we put to the beer room: you guys are fighting for P3 in the championship. It's extremely tight between 5 drivers. Do you think? Did you think you guys would be fighting each other this deep into the season? And are you confident it'll be a clean fight to the end? Jess responded saying the battle is going to be oh so close, and I am looking forward to it. When I fight with Papa, usually he is generally very clean. I didn't think I would be fighting for P3 in the championship. Papa Squanch is the quick driver, so he's gonna give it my all and pray I get the strategy right. I'm not counting Joe out either, because he has been amazing to fight with all season. I wish them both the best of luck. And Papa Squanch saying, after the first half of the season, I wouldn't have thought to fight for anything. Gonna be an exciting end to the season for sure. Best of luck to the competition. So both of them coming in tonight. They're battling for P3 in the championship, and obviously they've both been looking fantastic over the course of the season and rightfully deserve to be in that battle for P3 in the championship. Same with Joe as well in the mix. It's going to be very interesting. The driver that we brought in to the drivers' press conference is the returning driver, the Brazilian in Vitinho. And the question we put to Vitinho is, welcome back. You join us for the final race of the season. How do you feel to be back? Do you feel you'll be competitive and able to slot right into the grid? Vitinho says, first of all, it's so nice to race in this league again since F1 2018. When I first raced here, it was a league I had the most fun racing with the different approaches, like the press conferences, the rankings, cool commentators, and I am really happy to be back here. I did a lot of practice with Spa since it is the only race I will do, and I want to be good, so I expect at least the midfield, but I will be happy with P8 or above. So Vitinho setting sights on points immediately, and of course a very, very good driver. Of course, he mentioned going back to 2018. I believe that was when I actually raced Vitinho back in 2018 as well, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. But yeah, it's incredible to see Vitinho back on the grid, and honestly, I'm very much looking forward to what he can do out there on the field.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. We know it's dry for them, so that's going to make strategy a bit simpler. I'm not expected to see the hard tyres tonight, Mike. I'm expected to see the softs and the mediums mainly. But we've said it before, Mike. It's all about how you deal with pressure now. Your form doesn't make any difference. Almost your ability doesn't make any difference. It's all about how well you can handle the pressure, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, the pressure got to Rich last week in Miami, of course, finishing outside the points. The pressure got to J-Luke last week as well, making that big mistake into the hairpin down in Miami, and of course he ended up losing out quite considerably on Salu and Papa Squanch, and losing the possibility of taking a race victory and closing the gap even more. So there's pressure galore now on both the Mercedes drivers, as well as pressure on Joe, Jess, and Papa Squanch in our battle for third in the standings.
Yeah, it's going to be so tight. Mike, I'm going to be cruel now. Call your top three.
In the race or in the championship?
In the championship.
Ooh. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I think J. Luke's mistake at Miami is very costly, and I think that will be the deciding factor in this. I think J. Luke will take the win here tonight. So I'm putting J. Luke down to take the win, but I think Rich does enough to take the championship here tonight. So I'm going Rich to win the Drivers' Championship, J. Luke second, and do you know what? The battle for third is interesting. It is very interesting. And do you know what? I think it's going to be close, but I think Papa Squanch, over recent weeks, back-to-back wins, I think he does enough to get himself a podium and takes P3 in the standings.
Really?
Yep.
So I'm gonna call J. Luke winning the championship, Rich obviously second, and I have a feeling that Jess is gonna sneak third, but I think it's going to be very, very close between her, Joe and Salo. But though that's my punt, Mike, we will find out in about 45 minutes who's right.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, before we head back to the action out on track, massive shout out to our sponsors and partners here at One Hub Racing, of course, to Next Level Racing, providing some fantastic prizes for the champions as well as the constructors champions. To Pure Sim Gear as well. Of course, we have the fastest lap and pole position challenge to see who can collect the most. And of course, the winner will get a set of Pure Sim Gear gloves or socks. So it'll be very interesting to see who has the most stacked up at the end of the season. To Vespertween as well, of course, one of our key partnerships here in the Going Guess Tough award as well. Where you can obviously win the Race the Dream, Live the Dream t-shirt. And of course to Sim Grid, where of course we went through the standings earlier. And last but not least, the Mental Health Foundation. If you do need to talk to someone, guys, make sure you do. It is very important. Never suffer in silence. Cole, 22 laps await the drivers out there. Not only that, 2 DRS zones, one down into turn number 1, Lissels, one down the Campbell Straight. A lot of this circuit, you are on full throttle. But that middle sector, in my opinion, is where you can lose a lot of time, gain a lot of time. Going into the preparation and that for tonight, is that something that you prioritize, the middle sector, over the Sector 1, Sector 2 streets?
Certainly, from my perspective, that's exactly what I would do. When I used to do Belgium, I would usually tend to go for a slightly higher downforce setup to get that middle sector. Because like you said, Mike, that's where I tend to see the most mistakes from drivers as well. Because they go for the lower downforce setting, and then they struggle through those sections of corners and lose an absolute heap of time, and even on the verge of spinning. So it's going to be very interesting to see who's gone for a very low downforce setting and who's gone for the higher type.
Well, I mean, as you say, it's going to be interesting. Of course, that middle sector is where I think a lot of time can be won or lost in the middle sector. In terms of the straights, yeah, you're going to lose a bit of top end speed down the Camel Straight or in the run in towards the bus stop chicane. But you lose a hell of a lot more in that middle sector if you got too low of a wing. But having too low of a wing can help you in terms of the DRS and everything. So as long as you can stay with someone enough, you are going to be fine. So it's going to be interesting to see the variations in terms of the setups. We obviously spoke to many of the drivers coming in tonight. We put the questions out to them. Welcome to the final round of the season. How are we feeling going into the season finale? We got Joe responding saying he's not feeling too bad. Salu saying fairly good, I think. Spa is a favourite and one I've always been quite strong at. It'll be good to get stuck in, although a bit sweet because the season is ending. J. Luke saying he's very nervous but excited at the same time. Of course, referring to the championship battle. Jess saying she is very excited for this one. It has been a great season for her and had some great battles. So let's go out there and have some fun. Papa Squan saying he's feeling excited. Matthias saying I feel ready to get a good result in the last race. Vitinho, the returning driver, saying well, it is my first race. I just hope to be in good battles and in the midfield. Cowboy saying that he's feeling okay going into tonight's race as well. So a lot of drivers coming into tonight, they're feeling pretty good, feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, they are. I mean, it is one of the great tracks, isn't it? And I think it was either this game or the previous game that Codemasters did a complete rework of the track, and it is 10 times better than it was as well. It's just a great track, one of my personal favourites to drive.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it's showing with the drivers as well of why they're so confident round here, probably because they enjoy driving it, and then they do more laps, etc., and they get a bit more confidence, and you can see that everyone's hyped up for this one, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just for me. Obviously, this circuit is just one of those circuits where you just I think everyone, no matter whether you are an F1 fan or just whatever motorsport fan you are, I think everyone knows Spa-Francorchamps like the back of their hand, regardless of what kind of formula or form of motorsport and that they enjoy. It could be rally, but Spa. You know about Spa. You know the corners at Spa. You know the challenges. Like you could be a fan of the Dakar rally and you know about Spa.
Yeah, exactly that. And it's had so many classic races over the times. Who could forget 1998 when we had that 15-car pileup with the late, great Eddie Jordan managing to get his first victory for the team with Damon Hill driving. I think Ralph Schumacher came in second as well. Slightly different variant in those days, Mike, with the bus stop was slightly different. Controversially, I actually prefer the older bus stop, but I think the new track is a little bit more flowing.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cole, we've got the drivers out there right now. Obviously, they are getting their setups and everything sorted. They're getting their race strategy sorted. I am now going to press you for your top 3 in this race.
Oh, I'm going to go with Rich first. I have a feeling Jess is going to be on fire, and I think she's going to be in second with Salo in third place. That is my top 3 for this race. And my deepest apologies if I've jinxed anyone for saying that.
Hang on. Can you repeat your top 3 again?
So, J-Luke, Jess, and Salo.
Okay. For a second, I thought you said Rich first. So I was about to call you out there for saying.
Oh,
no. Okay, where do you think Rich will finish? And obviously, you've gone with J-Luke to win the championship, but where do you think Rich finishes?
I think he'll be 7th or 8th, I think. I just got a horrible feeling, him being in the pack like that, there'll be a minor incident that will affect him. Not necessarily his fault, just the nature of being in the middle of the pack. And he's got to be careful with his overtakes, but he can't be too cautious. So it's just a dodge, especially going into that first corner, Mike. It's so tight. You're almost better off being at the back than in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of my podium prediction, obviously I've gone with J-Luke for the win. I'm going Papa Squanch for second, and to complete the podium, I am going to go Salu on the final spot of the podium. I think he's formed in the past couple of races, and I lean it tonight. I think he can get a final spot on the podium.
It would be a tremendous end of the season for him. He had a horrible start to the season. It was great in qualifying and was having minor incidents in the race. But looking at this race, Mike, there are only two drivers on the grid who have gone for the medium tyres. Everyone else is on the soft tyres. So Matthias there in second place on the medium tyres. The drivers behind are going to be very, very keen to dispatch him as quick as possible. J-Luke is going to be hoping that Matthias gets a good start and stays in second for as long as possible.
Yeah, I think for J-Luke, he's going to be hoping that he can use his soft tyres to get away from Matthias nice and early on, and hope Matthias and Jamie can really do a number in keeping the likes of Joe, Jess, Salu and Papa Squanch behind to give J-Luke the best start possible. Obviously, I mentioned my top 3. Obviously, Rich was not in the top 3, but I do think that Rich will finish inside the top 6 tonight, clinching the Drivers' Championship, which is why I'm backing him to take the championship here tonight. But it's going to be an uphill battle for him because he does have Geese behind in front of him, but he also has Quinn in behind him as well as Mason, and both of those drivers are very quick on their day. Could this be one of those days and causing Rich a few issues out early on?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've seen Mason in the past have some absolutely bonkers pace. Same with Quinn. You know, he was if you look at Imola, the start of the season, I mean, he did win the race. He had that time penalty, which meant that he dropped. But his pace is there, so he could be a real headache for Rich. Proverb's shown great pace recently as well. Cowboy, M125. Now, he's down in 15th place. We know that he is quicker than that. So he could become an issue fighting through the field as well.
Yeah, also I want to point out as well, for the drivers at the back of the grid, M125, Vitinho and Skrillex, all three taking the engine and gearbox penalties. This is why they are starting down towards the back of the field. But yeah, I mean, M125, very quick driver. Vitinho, if he's got half the form he had previously, he's going to be making his way for the field. Skrillex, as we've seen in the past, can do some good things as well. As look at Jamie's placement on the grid, and it's brilliant. But we're going to
just
go to
look at that.
5 red lights are underway, and they are out, and we are racing here for the season finale in Belgium. It looks like a very good start there for Luke. Jamie and Joe immediately trying to get the move done on Matase going into turn number 1, as it looks like Jamie now up into P2. Joe has to settle down for P4 this time. Salo getting the jump on Jess, as Papa Squad holding on to P7, Geese holding on to P8. Rich not losing any positions there, he's still in P9. Quinn, though, has dropped all the way down to the back of the field.
Yeah, I saw Ferrari as they came round turn 1, facing towards the barrier. So on a disastrous start for
Rich and Jess side by side.
For Quinn, but look at Rich with Jess fighting through. He's already, Mike, gained a place. He has passed Guest. He is now up into P8. He just needs 2 more positions, and there's an incident behind us. Aston Martin Williams in the wall. It's Skrillex and Proverb, and it's a virtual safety car, Mike.
Yeah, and early on as well, just before the virtual safety car was deployed, Cole, just want to point out, J-Luke did get that 1 second gap immediately, so as long as he has a good restart here, he should have the advantage of dropping Jamie out of DRS range, possibly straight away on this restart. Now, these guys, obviously J-Luke and Rich especially, have to make sure that they adhere to the speed limit and not get caught out as is going back to green flag conditions. Because a drive-through penalty really does, honestly, it does completely take them out of the championship equation unless there's a safety car to bring them back into it.
Yes, and Mike, are we going to see any of these soft runners dive in the pit lane and get a cheap stop? Because, all right, it's not as cheap as a full safety car, but it is going to be cheap. No one. I'm very surprised at that, Mike. Not to see. There we are. DRS is now enabled. We are back racing.
Yeah, absolutely back racing, as Jamie is just trying his best to hold on to J-Luke, but J-Luke has got himself out of DRS range, and Jamie's out of DRS range on Matthias here. So it's going to be the Alpines of Salo and Joe going to be looking to try and get a cheeky overtake done here on the RB up ahead, but a little bit too far back is Salo, so it might mean that Matthias is just going to be a little bit safe this time around. But look at the closing speed of Salo on Matthias with DRS wide open, and now this is where J-Luke needs to 100% focus on his strategy in his race. He cannot let any lapse of concentration happen. So all he can do is whatever he can to win this race, and he just needs to hope and pray that this man, the man in P8 in Rich 500, does not have the pace finish in a position where he can get himself the championship at the end.
Yeah, Rich is, to be honest, struggling a little bit at this point of the race. He is only just within DRS of Jess ahead. He's going to have to push a little bit, because at this moment, Mike, he is holding Guest up. He has not got the race pace at the minute. I'm just going to have a look. He is saving his DRS. Rich, he's in the 80s, but that's very similar to the drivers around him, so he's got to find a bit more pace from somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Rich, just at this moment in time, as long as he can stay within the DRS string, these guys ahead, he's got a chance. If he drops out of DRS range, it's going to be very difficult for him. And he's had a very poor bust up chicane right there and you can see he's using and burning a bit of battery to try and get himself back within that rain, as we've got Salo and Matthias battling out at the end of La Source. That might be enough for Rich to get back within DRS range. Let's find out. No, he's still 1.2. And this is the danger for Rich. Now he's out of DRS range and the guys up ahead. He's going to be under pressure from Geese Cowboy M125 in behind us. We see Salo and Joe double overtake on Matthias here. We got Papa Squanch closing in as the Alpines battling out. I think Salo moving out of the way of Joe there, knowing that Joe has a better chance of finishing P3 in the championship. So maybe that's another thing as well, Cole. Salo could be the team player and help Joe get P3 in the standings.
Yes, he could. He could well do. But Salo knows that he can win the trophy for P3 in the championship as well. But the two teammates there working quite cleverly and closely together. Matthias there doing very well on those medium tyres, Mike. Still in 5th place.
Yeah, absolutely doing fantastic so far is the RB, and there's going to be a point coming up pretty soon where the mediums will become the better tyres to be on. That is for sure. Lap 3 of 22. J Luke leads away 2.3 seconds the gap. Jamie in 2nd place has Joe now within DRS range of him. Salo just in behind as well, just within DRS range, and I think that is one of the Williams that has gone around of Trash Panda on the exit of Stavolo. And yeah, unfortunately for Trash Panda, he's lost a lot of time there, and it's going to be a heartbreak for him as we got M125 and Cowboy there spinning around. I'm not sure if contact was made or if they just went for synchronized spins there, but a heartbreak for the pair of them. Rich though, he's outside the DRS range again, but the good news is for him now is that it's only Geese within DRS range of him.
Yes, that's going to be a little bit of a relief, but Rich's race pace is not there at this stage of the race, Mike. Is he just taking his time a little bit? But he is struggling.
Papa Squanch down the inside in towards Les Combs as they are still side by side on the exit, heading down in towards Brussels. And it's going to be Papa Squanch up in the P5. The Haas making a charge. Remember, this is important for the battle for P3 in the championship, because it's Joe versus Papa Squanch versus Jess here. Salo has the outside chance of getting P3 in the championship, but he needs a lot in terms of the points overhaul. So this is where I think Salo will probably just prefer to be the rear gunner to help Joe out. And now Papa Squanch is in behind. That is a direct competitor for Joe to be concerned about.
Yeah, certainly is. It's getting very, very tight now. J. Luke, a very comfortable 3-second lead. Jamie's going to be under some massive pressure now. He's got really 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars now right behind him. Be interested to see whether Jamie is going to fight this. The two Alpines, Mike, they're having a fight.
Yeah, Salo had a little peek on Joe, but elects to not go for the move. Smart there from Salo as Papa Squanch and Matthias, I think, had a little bit of a ding-dong coming through the bus stop chicane, and that's Matthias back up in the P5. Jess now ahead of Papa Squanch as Papa Squanch tries to outbrake, go around the outside. Big lock up at the tyres for the Haas, and that might actually just be the saving grace here for Rich, because Rich might just get himself back within DRS range. He's using the ERS to get there. He might have just done it as we climb up the hill through a Rouge and Radion onto the Camel Straight. Has Rich done enough for DRS? Yes, he has.
Yes, so that was very important, Mike, but he had to use a vast majority of his battery. So, but look at Papa Squanch and Jess.
Yep, Papa Squanch back through on the Red Bull of Jess. Meanwhile, up ahead, both of the Alpines getting through and getting past Jamie. And this is where I think the Alpines could be a little thorn in the side of J. Luke here, because they could work together, DRS tow each other up to J. Luke, and then J. Luke's chances of winning the Drivers' Championship diminishes quite considerably.
Yeah, it's going to be... You know for a fact that J. Luke is going to be staring at that screen tower and looking at the gap between himself and the two Alpines following him. But like you said, Mike, if these guys, if they're clever here, they can use DRS to their advantage and bring themselves back into this race.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rich right now is not doing what we expect. He's currently sat on about 50% battery, which is similar to the amounts that the guys up ahead have. Only J. Luke and Joe beneath it, and
Oh,
Joe's into the
sorry to
pits.
interrupt, Mike. We've got pitters. Joe is in the pit lane. So what's that? That's lap 4. 4 laps on these tyres, and Joe goes, I don't want any of these anymore, thank you very much. And he's going to be coming in for a set of the medium compound tyres. Mason is also, Jamie is also in the pit lane for a set of medium tyres.
As is Jess.
Yes, Jess as well. So
And
is Jess going to be able to get a bit of an undercut here on the drivers ahead of her? So, but Rich still out there on his older soft tyres.
Well, this could be hugely important. Obviously, for Rich in this race, he has lost out on DRS quite considerably on these guys. In terms of the battle right now, Papa Squanch has got himself ahead of Salu. That's going to be important for Papa Squanch's championship and taking third in the standings. J. Luke, 5-second lead over Papa Squanch. He's going to be very happy with the work he's done so far. And if J. Luke comes into the pits, I think Rich, he will get held up if he comes in and follows J. Luke in. So it might be worth him staying out just an extra lap. I'm not too sure.
It's a good shout, because he's not going to have a huge gap between himself and his teammate. It's whether the time you lose for staying out that 1 lap longer is worse than actually losing a little bit of time in the pit lane. That we're going to have to wait and see. Mike Salo right on the back of Papa Squanch. And Matthias now, he's back into this now, Mike. I think that we got to the point where the medium is the better tyre. J. Luke is in, Mike. Papa Squanch is in. Salo is in.
And Rich does stay out. And that's a VSC, so that's helped Rich and that's helped J. Luke, Salo, and Papa Squanch even more in this race. And a heartbreak for Rich, and the VSC has been deployed. And that's going to limit. So J. Luke, Papa Squanch, Salo, Mason, and Vitinho have got a decreased pit stop time here and the VSC.
They have, and Rich is, to be blunt, pretty screwed here. He's in deep trouble. He's got to stay within that VSC limit. I'm just trying to see what caused it. I can't see anything obvious. I think it was M125. So M125's coming in. He's changing his nose cone. I think so did Proverb as well. So I think that was what the cause was. But this is not going to help Rich in any way, shape, or...
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a championship decider right now. This is what it's all going to come down to. Is the virtual safety card just absolutely done Rich in this championship battle? This is going to be a very, very uphill battle now for the championship leader. He has a 14-point gap lead. Jess with a drive-through penalty. Oh. Jess, drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. That could be Jess's battle for P3. Over and done with you.
That is pretty much hurt her chances of getting into the top 3. She is going to be devastated. So she's got a drive-through. We are back under green conditions now, Mike, but Jess is going to have to serve the drive-through.
Yeah, and now Rich is into the pit lane. How much has he lost due to that virtual safety car and having to stay out a little bit longer? Let's see. He's going to drop down the order. And he's going to be behind Geist, I think, 100%. As Jess comes in to serve her drive-through penalty. And let's see where Rich is going to rejoin to, as he is on his way out of the pit lane right now. You got Jess coming through as well. Vitinho on the set of the soft tyres. I mean, Rich would have came out in P10 if Jess didn't pick up the drive-through. So he would have lost time, but look at that. He's near enough 3 seconds off the back of Geese now. And he has Vitinho, who is on soft tyres, going to be closing him in. And meanwhile, you got Mason and Jamie the two McLarens working together. They're currently 6th and 7th, so they're working in unison. You've got the two Alpines in 4th and 5th working together in unison. Right now, the championship is going in favour of J. Luke. Right now, P3 in the championship is going in favour of Papa Squanch.
Yes, it is. This is gonna be. So we got Papa Squanch in the perfect position. J. Luke in a great position. Don't forget, Matthias is yet to pit. So Matthias, he started on the medium tyres. He does need to complete his first pit stop, which I think will probably put him just behind Rich at this stage. But Rich is. He is slowly but surely catching the cars ahead. He needs to have the stint of his life here, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And Cole, I don't want to jinx it. I really don't want to jinx it. Can Mystic Mike come out to play? Because look at the net top 3 right now.
I know, Mystic Mike is at it again. Is he going to predict it? But Mike, we got a long way to go yet.
Absolutely. As Salo sets the fastest lap of the race thus far, a 45.8 from the Alpine, just outside the DRS range on Papa Squanch. Joe in P4, Mason now up to P5. What a race first stint this has been for Mason, as he's going to nip out just ahead of Matthias after his pit stop. And Matthias has gone medium, so he's going to be on sauce for the final stint, call.
Yeah, so he's going to be absolutely rapid towards the end of the race. Rich, 2 seconds now behind Jamie. He is catching him as Trash Panda gets a 3-second time penalty. Papa Squanch now is catching J. Luke here. He is catching him very slowly, Mike.
Yeah, and at the moment, Rich down in P9. He has Vitinho closing in on the back of him as Rich is trying his best to close in on the back of Geese. Jamie being a little bit of a bottleneck for the Sauber right now. So it's McLaren versus Sauber for P7. You got Rich and Vitinho closed in. Vitinho, obviously, he's returned to the league. It's the last race of the season. He just wants to get his elbows out and have some good battles. He's in the midfield, which is where he wanted to be. As you see Geese and Jamie up ahead doing a little bit of a tango coming through the middle sector, and Skrillex there with a 3-second time penalty as we come through Stavolo now, as Jamie, a little bit of a wiggle. That's going to allow Geese to get the run that he needs on the run down in towards Blanchimont. I think Geese is going to have this job done before Blanchimont, and he does indeed. But what that could do, Cole, is allow Jamie to get straight back past Geese with, of course, DRS. As you look at that, Salo back-to-back fastest lap times.
Wow. Salo is on an absolute mission here. He's in the DRS of Papa Squanch, but only just. Joe's falling back a bit. There's quite a big gap between Joe and Mason. Matthias right on the back of Mason in this DRS. Rich is now right on the back of Jamie, Mike. This is very important for him as Geese gets a 3-second time penalty.
How crucial could that be for Rich seeing a time penalty applied as Rich gets through on Jamie? So good going there from Rich, and now he's looking at a P7 finishes. Rich, as long as he can stick with Geese here, and we're going to do the math on it all in just a moment's time, as I'm going to quickly get the standings up and the points up, just to keep you guys updated on how the championship is looking at the moment.
Yeah, so we know that Rich needs top 6, and regardless of what J-Luke finishes, he will be champion. If he finishes 7th, he needs that fastest lap. If he finishes 8th and J-Luke wins, J-Luke is the the P2 champion. And we got a yellow flag in Sector 1, Mike. Who is that? It's already gone, so just a minor mistake from one of the drivers. As J-Luke does extend his lead a little bit, but Salo, yet again, showing great pace. He is right on the back of Papa Squanch. Is he going to be able to have another fastest lap, Mike? That's 3 fastest laps in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. And to keep you guys updated on the points tally right now, Rich right now in 8th place will be picking up 5 points. J. Luke are currently leading 20 points, 15 point swing, 14 points the gap going into tonight's race. J. Luke leads the championship by a single point at this stage in the race. As Salu looks to get the move done on Papa Squanch. Up in the P2 goes Salu. But obviously that 3-second time penalty from Geest will allow Rich to jump up into 7th, which will be 1 extra point for him, which leaves these two Mercedes drivers, as it currently stands, especially now Rich has gone through up in the P7, tied on points. So they are going to be neck and neck. They are tied on points currently. And as it currently stands, J. Luke, with more race wins this season, wins the championship.
God. Oh, what a move that is from Papa Squanch on Salo. I'm not convinced that was the cleanest manoeuvre I've ever seen in my life, but it was very, very brave as Papa Squanch. And all this is doing, mate, this is perfect for J. Luke.
Yeah, I think J. Luke right now, as long as he does nothing to hinder his own race here, he's just got to keep it nice, cool, calm, and collected. He's just got to focus on what he's doing, not what everyone else is doing. And hopefully, I hope he does not have the stream open in the background, because obviously when you have the stream open in the background, sometimes like hearing the points tally and how everything's looking at the moment just might put you under a bit of pressure and then mistakes start to come out. So hopefully he is not doing that at the moment. But right now, Cole, they are going to be tied on points. They are going to be neck and neck on points, and it will be J. Luke taking the championship by race wins this season.
That's absolutely astonishing. You know, we've done 12 races or 12 rounds. You know, we've had 3 sprint races as well. So we've had 15 races. And it's 10 laps to go of the season. And there's nothing in it. Literally nothing in it. Rich, I'm just looking now. He's catching Mason, but quite slowly. He's not gaining on him as much as I would expect, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, this is important for Rich. If Rich can get himself ahead of Mason, no matter what J. Luke does, Rich wins the Drivers' Championship. As obviously, in terms of the points difference, it would be an extra 2 points gained for Rich if he does finish ahead of Mason in this race. Which, regardless of the fastest lap, if J. Luke was to pick it up, it's not going to make a difference. It'll be Rich that wins by a singular point if Rich can get himself a P6. But right now, he's P7. He has Geese behind him. Oh, Geese has a big snap of roll here, and that's just relieved all the pressure from Rich now from behind. And what I was going to say was maybe Rich and Geese, potentially Rich would want to be working with the Sauber to close up. He's not going to have that luxury anymore. I think Rich, his best chance is going to be the pit stop phase and potentially trying to get an undercut on Mason. So all he's got to do is finish ahead of Mason for the championship.
Yes.
Oh, that could be big.
That's his target.
Matthias, 3 seconds.
That's big. That is huge. But Rich will be able to see that. He'll be on his screen. He will see that Matthias got a penalty, and he'll be delighted with that because he knows he can just get within 3 seconds of him, and he will jump him. But he is not catching Mason. Mason, I got to be honest, his pace in this phase of the race here has been absolutely brilliant. I would say this is his best race that he's had pretty much all season long. He got a bit fortunate with the timing of the safety car, of the virtual safety car, but his pace here has been absolutely brilliant, and he's keeping the championship leader at bay.
Yeah, absolutely. And Mason right now, the gap 1.7, 1.8 the gap between Mason and Rich. Remember, this is for the championship. If Rich gets ahead of Mason, Rich wins the Drivers' Championship. The pressure on Rich right now to close that gap down and get himself not only past Mason, but to maybe try and get himself win the 3 second window of Matthias as well. If he can't get past on Mason, he has to make sure he's in that 3 second window. The pressure on that Mercedes is going to be biblical, and there's a Aston Martin, and that's a full course safety car.
Oh my word! Oh my word! Wow. This now, well, I don't know what to say now, Mike. I mean, this is massive. This is massive. Salo's not pitting, Mike.
No, I think
Why?
I think Salo potentially wants to help his teammate out, or maybe he's just not confident in getting the mediums to the end. Rich is in, Geist is in, Jamie will be in as well, as will Cowboy, most likely Jess as well. Yep, they're all going to be in. Rich might get marginally held up in the pit lane here, and we are going to see if he is going to get held
Salo's
up.
been disqualified, Mike. Salo has been disqualified.
Wow.
He overtook the safety car when he wasn't supposed to. I think that's my assumption here. Guys, for anyone in the chat, please let me know if you think that's what... But it did say disobey and yellow flag, so I got a feeling that when the safety car come out, that Salo was supposed to be behind him as he was the leader, and he overtook the safety car, and it said, no, you can't do that, and has been disqualified. Mike, Rich is now in 6th place. He's where he needs to be to win this Drivers' Championship.
Yep, Rich right now is in position to take the Drivers' Championship. He has Matthias with a 3-second time penalty ahead, which means he's in a net P5 at the moment. And in terms of what we've got here, Cole, to bring an end to the season, under safety car conditions, I think we're going to probably go racing again on lap 16, maybe lap 17. Just look at the Trash Panda and where he's located on the map right now. He's just coming up towards Rouge and Radion. So I think maybe lap 16, lap 17, we'll go racing again. These guys on the soft tyres have rolled the dice, and they are hoping that the safety car stays out a few extra laps so the softs get to the end perfectly. That is going to be the big issue for Rich right now, because he has Vitinho in behind him. He has Geist in behind him. Geist obviously has troubled Rich so far in this race. He's kept with him. He's made a few mistakes, but he has shown similar pace to Rich in this race. Vitinho on a set of soft compound tyres. Jamie on a set of soft compound tyres. You got Jess now back into the equation on a set of soft compound tyres as well. And these people now behind Rich could be crucial in terms of the championship fight. J. Luke now has Papa Squanch and Joe in behind him. How crucial is that going to be for J. Luke as well? Remember, he got the gap nice and early. He's shown great pace and just continued to pull away from the field. But now he's going to have Papa Squanch and Joe, who I think are going to be more capable of sticking within DRS range of the Mercedes drivers. So now J. Luke's race win is under threat. Rich's championship is under threat. J. Luke's championship is under threat. And the battle for P3, Papa Squanch versus Joe for P2, has now just turned into a absolute all-out war for that final final trophy.
Yeah, I mean, it is. I mean, these guys, they're going to know. They're going to know the points. I would assume that most of them are probably listening to the stream to give themselves an idea of the championship as well, to give them a little bit more information. So Papa Squanch is going to be putting J. Luke under a lot of pressure. Matthias, we know how quick he's been lately, but he does have that 3-second time penalty. Mason also on the set of softs there. Rich and Guest on the medium tyres. Guest with that 3 seconds. That's going to hurt him as well. And then from 8th down to 14th on the soft tyres, we've got a bit of an extra lap here, so this is going to help the soft runners.
I think it's going to be this lap 16.
I think we are, mate. I think we're going to be going. But looking at the chat,
confirmation in the chat. I was about to say, Salo apparently was prompted to overtake the safety car, and once he did, he got the illegal overtake on the safety car, which led to the disqualification for Salo, which is absolutely unfortunate and diabolical that has happened to Salo. And I can understand why in the chat Salo is fuming right now, but Salo, it is not all bad, my friend. You've had a fantastic season. It hasn't ended the way you wanted, but you can walk away from the season where you held high, because the pace you was shown over the course of the season has been incredible. And while the things have not gone your way over the course of the season, you have well and truly been a name that has been on the mind of everyone when it comes to the race wins, podium positions, etc. So you can take that into the new game cycle, into next season, and hopefully we'll be seeing you back up towards the front next season.
Yeah, exactly that. A great driver, a great member of the community as well. Hoping to see you with us on the new game, Salo, and on F125, where I'm sure that you can pick up a great championship fight as we are about to go racing, Mike. J. Luke warming his tyres up, ready to go.
This is an important restart for J. Luke. It's an important restart for Papa Squanch and Joe as well. And Papa Squanch is not allowing J. Luke to get away from him, and he's kept the gap at around half a second as we are back to green flag racing. And now Vitinho immediately attacking Geese. Geese falling down the order. I think Geese might have dropped it coming out of the bus stop chicane. And he has. He's in the wall. Geese is in the wall. Geese falls down the order. And now all the soft runners are on the back of Rich 500 here.
Yeah, this is not what Rich wanted. He would have wanted Guess behind him as a bit of a buffer. We haven't got DRS this lap, but it will be enabled next lap. But look at Papa Squanch. He is all over J. Luke.
Yep, Papa Squanch all over J. Luke as Rich trying his absolute best to get past on Mason here. Mason with those soft tyres should have the grip to maybe pull away decently enough from Rich, and that might allow Vitinho, Jamie and Jess to get onto the back of Rich. The championship is not over. The championship is going to go down to the wire, guys. That is for sure, as Matthias has a 1.5 second gap to Mason, so he's almost got the 3 second gap once again, Cole, on Rich. So again, it swings and roundabouts here in Spa. The championship is hanging by the balance. Lap 16 of 22. J. Luke leads the way, but as it currently stands, Rich 500 wins the Drivers' Championship.
Yes, it does. Now, Papa Squanch, we saw how clever he is, with race tactics. Is he just going to sit behind Papa Squanch? Is he going to sit behind J. Luke? Or is he going to go for it?
Oh, Matthias.
Oh, that's tight.
There was a little bit of contact made between the pair of them. I don't think Joe will be too happy with that, but he might be happy having Matthias just ahead of him, knowing that Matthias on the soft tyres could get him back within the fight at the front. Papa Squanch versus J. Luke now for the race lead and potentially the race win, and could be the big deciding factor in the championship. Papa Squanch in what he needs to be in terms of finishing P3 in the standings. Jamie with a 3 second time penalty. That's going to be a sigh of relief for Rich down in 6th place. That is for sure, as now DRS has been activated once again. Vitinho on those soft tyres is going to close in on Rich, but is he going to be close enough? Papa Squanch takes the race lead away from J. Luke. J. Luke, for the first time in this race, is not in the race lead or the net race lead of this race, and that safety car might just be the undoing of J. Luke's championship charge.
He will be absolutely cursing that safety car, because, to be blunt, it's not only cost him this race, it's not over yet. We know he's more than capable of getting past Papa Squanch, but it could have lost him the championship as well. Rich there, up in 6th place. He is not catching Mason. He is out of DRS, Mike. He is dramatically under pressure from the drivers behind.
Yep, and obviously, we mentioned it obviously with in terms of the points and that. Just to give you a quick update in terms of the championship and that and how it is looking. Remember, if Rich finished 7th and of course J. Luke won, they would be level on points. Right now, it's 5 points to the advantage of Rich right now, as things currently stand in this race. So Rich is taking the championship by 5 points. Of course, he could lose 2 points by being overtaken by Vitinho, could lose another point being overtaken by Jess, but J. Luke needs to win this race.
Yes, it's it's win or bust. So he's going to be aggressive with Papa Squanch. He is, and he's done it, Mike. He's passed him down the camel straight. He has done the maneuver. So I suspect Papa Squanch will probably... These guys, they're not going to want to be leading going into that last lap, Mike.
Absolutely not. And Geese picks up another 3-second time penalty. Heartbreak there for Geese, who's having a fantastic race, but now finds himself down in P15. Jess now on the back of Rich. And Jess is the driver who, of course, has the capability to get past Rich. I think Jess is going to be smart and wait for the perfect opportunity to get through on Rich in this race. J. Luke, if he was to finish second, he needs Rich to finish 10th or lower. So that is what happens right there. If J. Luke finishes second, Rich, all he needs to do is finish inside the top 9. And looking at the penalties below him, obviously with Jamie and Quinn in 9th and 10th place respectfully, there's a good chance that he would finish inside the top 9 regardless. So it's coming down to the case of, are these soft tyres on Mason and Matthias's car going to allow themselves to stay ahead of Rich? Is Jess going to have the grip on these soft tyres to get ahead of Rich and stay ahead? Remember, that gap between Matthias and Rich right now is just under 3 seconds. So that is the gap that Rich needs to stay focused on. He needs to be focused on the gap to Matthias as well as Mason, but they both got DRS and Rich does not have DRS, but one person that does have DRS is Papa Squanch, and of course Jess now, who is in the slipstream using a bit of battery, using the DRS, and is going to go for the move down the inside in towards Les Combs, and job done for the Red Bull.
Absolutely brilliant from Jess. But, I mean, to be honest, Rich's only saving grace at this stage is that he's going to be hoping that these soft tyres are going to fall off an absolute cliff towards the end of this race. Because he, at this moment, yes, J. Luke is not in that crucial first place, but Rich he has not got the pace to fight these soft tyre runners. He's just going to be praying that they run out of grip towards the end of this race, Mike.
Yeah, and honestly, I think we could be seeing that. That is another safety car brought out lap 19 of 22. Word. We are going to have one lap, and I think with the time penalty for Matthias, it could be defining for J. Luke and Rich in this race. Does anyone risk coming into the pit lane at this stage? I would imagine not.
Surely not. Surely not. I'd be very, very, very surprised to see anyone
Jamie's
box. Jamie's in the pit lane.
Vitinho's in.
Well, that's very, very... This could be... I mean, to be honest, if Jamie went in, you may as well have followed him in, but there's not going to be many laps, Mike. I think it's just going to be one lap.
Yes, but on very fresh soft compound tyres, there's only going to be probably in between Rich and these guys on very fresh soft tyres. Cole, the championship is... Just when you think the championship has been decided, P2 throws another spanner in the works.
This is absolutely incredible. We've got 2 laps to go. At this moment in time, it's Rich's championship. We're going to get, I suspect, 1 lap. And that is it. J-Luke is going to know he's going to have to go for it. But they're not going to get DRS, Mike. Unless the safety car comes in at the end of this lap, which it might well do.
I think it will.
It might well do. Then there'll be 1 lap of DRS, if I'm right.
I think the safety car will be in at the end of this lap. Now, what that has done is meant that Mason's, Jess's, and Matthias's soft tyres should have decent enough life in them to be okay and still match pace with the mediums. But this is where the fresh softs are going to come into play, because Jamie, Vitinho, Cowboy, Quinn and Geese all on fresh softs. Obviously, Trash Panda has disconnected from the lobby, so he's down in 12th place.
Safety car in this lap, Mike. We're going to get 2 laps of racing.
Ladies and gentlemen, the championship is in the balance. The final 2 laps here in P2 for season 26. Will it be J. Luke? Will it be Rich 500 seeing the championship at the end of proceedings here tonight? Time will tell. Papa Squanch right now is the race leader. Will he make it 3 in a row to clinch third in the Drivers' Championships? Can Joe maybe snag himself third in the championships? Jess, let's not count Jess out there. She's in P6 right now. Can she get herself third in the Drivers' Championships? This is where things are going to get very spicy. Elbows are going to be out to the absolute fullest. And Will, in the post press conferences, we're about to get racing once again for the final time here in Belgium, is going to be Papa Squanch with a brilliant getaway away from J. Luke, and we are back to green flag racing. Rich is already outside the 1 second window on Jess. He's had a horrible restart and probably has a little peak on Rich, and Mason's already a second off the back of Joe as well. That could be hindrance for Rich in terms of jumping Matthias on the time penalty. Oh.
Yeah, Rich is going to have to use his ERS. He's got to get within that DRS. It's crucial as J. Luke takes the lead. But Mike, is that too early?
That's way too early.
Is that too early? If I was J. Luke, I would not have gone for that then. I would have waited. Papa Squanch now is just, as Vitinho gets 3 seconds, I suspect that Papa Squanch is just going to sit behind and wait for that DRS zone down the Camel Straight and go, thank you very much.
Yeah, I think what J. Luke is hoping that Matthias has a little peek on Papa Squanch here, because he still has the grip on those tyres. Cowboy has left the session. Absolutely heartbreak for the RB here tonight. Falling down the order. You got Rich, who's outside the DRS range on Jess now, and he's going to have the pressure of these soft runners in behind. Vitinho closing in. In fact, Vitinho closing in. Jamie gets onto the gravel, so he's lost a bit of ground. Probably side-by-side battling with Jamie. I think, okay, it's coming down to this. I think Rich will finish P7 at the lowest, coming on to the final lap of the race. But will it be J. Luke? Will it be Rich 500 that will be taking the championship? And will it be Matthias gets all out of shape, and that's going to allow Joe to maybe get himself through. DRS has been enabled here for the final lap of the race. Let's go to the front. This is where it matters. This is where the championship is won or lost. Papa Squanch has a plethora of ERS, but let's see if he's going to deploy it all. I think J. Luke needs to be smart about his ERS here, and maybe not burn absolutely everything on the Camel Straight, but he's got to burn enough just to stay ahead. As here comes Papa Squanch cruising by. Papa Squanch in the race lead, and the championship lead goes the way of Rich 500. Now J. Luke has one more opportunity, the bus stop chicane. Will it be enough for J. Luke? Can Papa Squanch stay ahead and make it 3 race wins in a row? He is basically got the championship in the palm of his hand, as Papa Squanch, as Rich right now is in no man's land. He's in P7. He's under pressure from Vitinho. There's no higher position that I think Rich is going to get. I think Matthias is just about doing enough to stay ahead of Rich in terms of the time penalties. In fact, it's very borderline right now. So we'll keep an eye on that as we cross the line. But J. Luke has one opportunity. He needs the slipstream. They both have roughly the same amount of ERS. He needs the slipstream. He needs the ERS. He needs to run out of Stavolo. And he's got a good run. But has he got the straight line speed to do this? As we run down in towards Blanchimont for the final time in season 26 for the championship. He's closing in. And is it going to be enough? Is he going to send it down the inside? No, he's going to send it around the outside, at the outside of the bus stop chicane, to the inside for the second part, as they wheel-to-wheel contact, as they come across the line. It's going to be J. Luke to take the victory, and will it be the championship along with it? As here comes Rich across the line. Is Rich going to get himself P6. No, it's P7. J. Luke is the drivers' champion in P2 for season 26. Incredible.
Absolutely brilliant. I couldn't see. I tried to get on and I pressed all the buttons. Was there contact between the two drivers? That I don't know. What a way to end the season. Absolutely incredible.
Wow, wow, wow.
I'm absolutely stunned. What a season. Absolutely crazy. What a brave maneuver. I'm so looking forward to seeing that maneuver.
Ladies and gentlemen, just to give you a brief description of how the season is currently ending. Rich 500, 150 points. J. Luke, 150 points. J. Luke, Drivers' Champion on countback race wins.
Absolutely astonishing. I cannot believe it. Absolutely brilliant.
Oh no, I've got the I got the screen in there, so I can't see the standings.
I will quickly run through. So J. Luke, Papa Squanch, Joe, Mason, Jess, Matthias, Rich, Proverb, Quinn, Jamie, Vitinho, Guest, Trash Panda, Cowboy, M125, Skrillex, and Salo. Well, I am absolutely stunned.
Did you see who picked up the fastest lap?
It was J. Luke, I think. I think J. Luke got it. I did look in the last couple of laps. And I think it was J. Luke who did get that fastest lap. But what an ending, Mike. I cannot believe it.
Honestly, an incredible end to what has been an incredible season, Cole. And season 26, the championship coming down to the final lap on the final race. Late safety car, 2 laps of racing. J. Luke had to go for that move around the outside of the bus stop chicane. Papa Squanch defended the inside line. J. Luke outbroke, went around the outside. There was a little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact in the second part of the chicane, which I don't know if there's any foul play there. I mean, we'd have to wait and see, but I think it was all clean and above board from what I saw. And then to the line, J. Luke takes the victory. If J. Luke did get the fast lap inside the top 10, it would be J. Luke winning it by a singular point on 151, and then obviously Rich would be on 150. I'm not entirely sure who did get fastest lap, unfortunately. Wasn't able to go for the standings, but hopefully, maybe someone might have taken a sneaky little screenshot for us, maybe just so we can see who got fastest lap.
Yes, let's hope somebody's done it for us. But what a way to end the season. I'm absolutely stunned with that. Absolutely incredible. I'm very curious to know how, because to be honest, it looked as though J. Luke was way wide to get back on the inside. It's going to be very interesting to see from Papa Squanch's point of view whether he thought it was a fair manoeuvre or whether that one could end up in the stewards.
Well, I mean, I can confirm that J. Luke did get the fastest lap inside the top 10. So it is J. Luke who wins the championship outright, 151 points to 150 of Rich. And look, Cole, an incredible season. J. Luke thoroughly deserving the championship. Rich thoroughly deserving the championship as well. But in the end, it was J. Luke that won the battle of the two Mercedes. The duel in the Ardennes Forest has gone the way of J. Luke. And a massive congratulations to him. Now, Cole, we have to pick our driver of the day. You're seeing the issue that we have here. We have to pick our driver of the day.
Don't look at me. I've not a flipping clue.
We have to pick a driver of the day now, and there's so many contenders. I mean, J. Luke, obviously the start he had absolutely incredible pace, and I broke DRS, and the only reason people were on him at the end was due to the safety car. coming out pretty late. Obviously, Papa Squanch, the pace that he showed throughout the race as well. I mean, Jess, a brilliant recovery drive from her after the drive-through penalty. I mean, Matthias, the pace that he showed over the course of the race as well. Like, what could it be for him? Mason with a fantastic result as well. Like, Joe also. Like, there's so many contenders, but I am going to ask you for your driver of the day.
Oh, God alive. I got to give it to J. Luke. I've got to. I suspect that last corner would probably go to the stewards just to make sure everything was above board and fair. But what a brave thing to do. He's got to go for it. Absolutely crazy. What an epic end to the season. So my question to you, J. Luke, is how are you feeling after that crazy race?
We will find out for sure. And of course, you've gone for J. Luke and I with the nomination for driver of the day. I'm going to go for the man that finished second place. I'm going to go for Papa Squanch. And I'm going to say like this. Incredible race from yourself, Papa. Just missing out on the race win at the end. But as it stands, securing P3 in the Drivers' Championship. The form you've had over the past couple of races, did you think that this form would continue throughout the rest of the season, or did you think there would be a bit more of a drop-off for yourself? And how do you feel now that the season is over?
It's Rich must be in a horrible position here, Mike, as well. The championship was his, and then it wasn't, and then it was, and then it wasn't. Absolutely crazy. I have never, ever seen a championship end like that. In all my time commentating with One Hub, and even driving in One Hub, I've never seen anything like it. It's going to go down as the championship of the ages for us here at One Hub. And for anyone watching the stream, this is what One Hub can do. This is what One Hub produces. We've got the new game coming in only a few weeks' time, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Please get it. Please come and join us at One Hub, because this is what you could get out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, a lot of improvements from a lot of drivers over the course of this game cycle. Going into the next game cycle is going to be very, very interesting. Of course, a lot of the P1 drivers tuning in, and we will be getting racing in around about 25 minutes time for the action in P1. Obviously, the championship is wrapped up in P1, and we're going to see what is going to happen there, because there's still some things to fight for in P1, some positions, maybe some bragging rights out there, but obviously the main championship's all wrapped up, but there's still going to be a lot of action in P1, so make sure you guys tune in about 25 minutes. Of course, Jess and J. Cole are going to be taking you through the action there. Cole, what a season we've had here, and what a championship finale.
Absolutely brilliant. I'd just like to say thank you to all the drivers up and down the grid. Our attendances this year in P2 have been absolutely brilliant. Pretty full grids every single race. Big thank you to yourself, Mike. It's been absolutely brilliant commentating with you all season long. And I just can't wait for the next season now, Mike. But you've got your race now in 25 minutes. And then that will be the end of F124 for One Hub.
Yeah, absolutely. But before we wrap things up here tonight in P2, again, massive shout out to all the drivers and everything that have competed over the course of this season, and a massive shout out to our sponsors and partners here at One Hub Racing, of course, to Next Level Racing, to Pure Sim Gear, to Vesper Twin as well. as Sim Grid, and of course the Mental Health Foundation. Guys, what a season it's been. What a championship battle. What a final race. And what a bright future we have moving into the next game cycle. I'm going to confirm right now, I will be back next season. I'm confirming it right now. I'm back next season. So,
well,
I will be here.
Shall I do the same then, Mike? Because I shall be back racing in One Hub on F125 as well. The Welsh duo will be back.
Yep, the Welsh duo will be back. We will see though if we will be commentating. Of course, that will be up in the air until the game cycle and everything comes out. But we will be signing up regardless. So yeah, guys, massive congratulations to Jay Luke on the championship and to Mercedes on the Constructors Championship as well. We will be back in about 20 minutes for P1. Until then, guys, is goodbye from myself, Michael Edwards. Goodbye from Colin Mason. And we'll see you for season 27.
Whoa.